you really good package and some very nice portfolio, you need to reel it out. All the girls that will want to come and pay me to
say he's interested.
It's not about him, it's about them. Let them pay me.
It's nice to be here. Always
I've not
be
told
here
them
on
your
the
name.
Monday morning,
I've
starting
not told
the
them
week.
your name.
You don't need to tell them. Just leave the other one.
Olusesan Okunade is with us on the bumper breakfast this morning.
Thanks,
Always a pleasure.
thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. All right, let's take a look at some of the stories that made the front page. My excitement this morning, trust me, you really don't want to know why. I'm gearing up to beat some people. So I really, started that show with a laughter because I was warning them. But it looks as if some people wouldn't be the only ones being beaten this morning. Apparently, some people have been beaten in their businesses over the last couple of weeks. As it looks as if oil nears about $80 per barrel with slim chances for more revenue due to theft. Nigeria partly responsible for higher oil prices, yet can't break even. So apparently, Nigeria is one of the countries that have been beaten. We are chopping king. As a matter of fact, we are shopping king. We are shopping it. Now we have, despite amnesty, 32 billion.
This is your radio. This is your radio.
Star FM 101.5 gives you the best of music, news, talk, and chips. You don't want to miss. It's the PM Crew. PM Crew.
Welcome back. Apologies for that abrupt break. But yes, I was talking about 30 billion naira security cost average loss to crude theft. Vandalism surpasses 200,000 BPD. And operators can make money, need newer security models. Buhari withdraws approval for the release of $209 million, 32 billion naira ship finance fund. Bagadush shuns Lai Mohammed Tobanin as Ganduje announces new emir of Gaya. Fuel scarcity looms as marketers, suppliers contend with hurdles. Are you with me that we are chopping king?
Let's flow.
We should flow. I don't see problem with implementing anti-grazing laws, says Fayemi, and that's coming from the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum and governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi. Nigeria's tax system problematic. Supreme Court to expedite action on the VAT. Country lacks funds to build economy, borrowing a necessity. Governors need to manage finance responsibly. Erufai Akeredolu altercations on open grazing needless. Those are riders of that story. But quickly, Sheson, let's take a look at this. If the oil is nearing $80 per barrel, $80 per barrel, and yet we are responsible for the high prices, which means maybe we're getting more crude, but we can break even. The maths doesn't seem to add up. Or you're an accountant, can you help us?
Yeah, well, let me first state that we will continue to say Nigeria is a blessed country. The only problem we have is possibly leadership. When you have leaders that are really not focused, that does not understand the dynamism. You need to have an understanding of a business mindset when you are in government. We have asked that let's shift governance from this approach of is government work, is government property, to a business-oriented stuff. Every businessman going into the business to create one, customer satisfaction. Mm-hmm. When you have that at the back of your mind, don't even go to the area of profit maximization. Yeah. The fundamental thing is you have to be customer-centric. Have the customer that you're serving. Same is applicable on the part of the government. If they understand that they have customers, who are their customers? Citizens that they need to satisfy. I think the dynamics will change. And going by what you said, I remember that the budget for this year was pegged at $57 per barrel.
Yes. Which
And
means
as
we
we
have more
speak,
money.
So we have a lot of, a
That's
surplus.
about 23.
$23
$23
and
difference.
that's huge money
Yes.
to our coffers as a country. But what do we have? Because there are no policies to really guide the business nature of where we are. We keep seeing ourselves going down the drain. I can assure you that some of the oil producing nations now are smiling. Take for example Saudi, UAE. What did they use? It is still
The
same
same
oil money that they use in developed other sector. Now if you go to UAE, if the oil price is down, they have other segment that can generate money for them.
Revenue.
Tourism. Every one of us fly to Dubai, and
Yeah.
if you want to give somebody a free flow and say, babe, where do you want to be? If he's not going to Bahamas, the first place he will tell you, I'll take you to Dubai. Everybody goes there, we buy goods, we buy other things. The same oil money, SSs that they budgeted for, was what they actually got to develop the nation and said, okay, let's diversify. We've been hearing our government talking of diversification, and you get more money from your mainstream, and you're not diversifying it properly. And that's the problem we are faced with. You can see what an average businessman is facing. Multi-tax, infrastructure decay. I appreciate the fact when you said we are being badged with the scarcity of fuel looming.
Yeah.
If you see the reason behind that this morning, I read the story. It is so many of the truck are stuck in certain places because of the infrastructural decay. Talk of Kaaba, people cannot move from the north to the west here. And we keep saying that we are developing rail system, we are developing this, we are developing that.
But
when we
use our rail
cannot.
for cargo, don't mind you. Mind you, we're not using rail for cargo.
So what are we using it for? To transport human being? And these are some of the things we say that until we have people who are business oriented, managing the affairs of the country, we go nowhere. Look at so much in the line of foreign exchange. So many of us that venture into foreign exchange businesses, like having to buy so many things from the outside world because we cannot even produce, now are stopped. Imagine you have a quotation for a client, and as we speak, the exchange rate has actually hit even above your margin. You cannot return the work back to the client, and you cannot even meet your obligation. So you're already running at loss. So do you know the implication of that? The staff will suffer.
Definitely.
Because you will not be able to make the margin to take care of your operating expense. And that's why we have said, let government put in the right policy. You see, as far as I'm concerned, and I'll continue to say it, this country is blessed.
Yes.
The only problem we faced with is not having the right policy, not having the right set of people at the helm of our affair to give direction the way we need to go. $23, you know the number of barrels will trill out on daily basis. As a matter of fact, we have excess supply. It is OPEC that has actually pegged it about 1.4 million barrels a day.
Yes.
You understand? And I know we tripped out about 1.8 on daily basis. You still have excess that can even still be, and that's why we said, if we have developed our refinery, part of the suggestion we've given to the government, you can now look for a way to control the western region. Your excess that you are not selling to OPEC, you can refine it
and sell to
locally,
countries where your people are smuggling
those products
too.
too. And you definitely have more revenue. These are some of the initiatives. And we keep saying it, that until the people in government see governance as business and putting in mind that you are out to satisfy your customers. Who are your customers? The citizens, the people that elected you into that position. We go nowhere.
Let's take a look at the
Okay,
Punch.
the Punch newspaper, the writer says banner line says COVID-19 business booms. Inbound travelers bribe officials to evade tests, and experts warn of spike. The writer says flight passengers bribe officials with 10,000 naira and 15,000 naira to underpay and evade tests. Virologists knock officials alleged of invaders responsible for high community transmission. That's where we are right now in Nigeria. All right, we have federal government places 3,964 Nigerians in watch list and suspends passports. 330,000 Nigerian refugees in Chad, Niger, over other countries, says federal government. ASU meets next week over planned strike and laments government's inaction. Nigeria needs $400 billion to close energy shortfall, says Buhari. Northern governors meet on VAT today, sans berate Malami. Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Kenya hold 80% investment in Africa, says AFDB. Kwara man who allegedly buries 9-year-old with 1,000 naira note arrested. ICPC arraigns 2 suspects for defrauding RCCG of 10 million naira over land. Adopters free 10 more Baptist students and keep 11 victims. Nigeria will surmount current travels and emerge in victory, says Adeboye. That's the picture story we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Fashola Pabio, the zones groups promoting ministers' 2023 campaigns. Lagos Clubhouse kicks as 100 policemen, thugs demolish buildings and arrest workers. Forex crisis, massive job losers loom. Profits shrink, says man and others.
Well, let's take a
Amazing
look
story.
at the top story of the Punch newspaper.
COVID-19 business loans. Now, there is a business transaction going when it comes to COVID-19 vaccination and the travelers at the moment.
You're talking, you see, from that news, we're talking of the risk that it posed on us for the
What about
people
the other
coming in.
countries?
The
High
truth
community
is, do you
transmission.
know, I was Scott-based when my brother traveled to UK, and he said, Sheson, that jab that we took and knocked maybe him down, he was still put on the watch for 10 days and said, you don't trust and believe that COVID, because they learned that people are now, you know, paying for the card, not to take the
vaccine
itself. And you can imagine when you have a business plan, you know, the world is going global. You have to visit some clients. You have to stay 10 days indoor, not doing anything. Who bear the cost? These are trips you are expected to do within 2-3 days. Do what you need to do, come back to the country.
And
But
then
you are
do your
just
thing.
you are held back for first 10 days, maybe spend another 3 days. Look at those costs. And that's why we say some of the things that are going on with this insincerity. I will always say we have the government to blame, and we have ourselves to blame.
To blame as well.
Some of the civil servants, some of the government officials that are actually doing some of these things, all in the name of greed.
10,000, 15,000 to
And you know, there's a way we always say this thing in Yoruba. You point an accusing fingers to someone, forgetting that the remaining 3-4, you know, is
Facing
directed
back
back
at
to
you.
you. The person that you've actually collected 10,000-15,000 from to skip the test and other things, you don't know whether he's going to meet with your cousin, your husband, your wife, your children in a particular cycle. And if it's infected, you are also going to pay the price. Will 10,000 naira be enough to take that? And that's why we say we need a commitment on the part of our citizens too. Those that are there, everything is not about money. You get the money, you get those people in, and you get the problem. Some of this problem, you can see man even complaining that Forex is eating into some of our businesses. And that was what the first thing I said in the aspect of government having the right policy. As we speak this morning, I learned $1 is being traded for 575, 580.
580 naira.
You understand? Well, we don't want to be prophet of doom. Some of us are already envisaging
You
that.
are not a prophet. Pastor Adeboye said that Nigeria will overcome.
Yeah, we overcome.
He's
And
the
we emerge
prophet.
in
You're not the
victory.
prophet.
You
Don't go
no.
to prophecy.
No, the other side is, you know, when we say some of these things,
Soon.
I remember that like 4 or 5 months I was on a particular TV show like this. Dollar was still trading for like 380, 400.
Oh my God.
And when we looked at it, then we're like projecting that, oh boy, if care is not taking this thing, we get to 500,000.
And here we are.
And somebody, we are now at 580, and somebody called and said, what did we
forbid.
And I said, this is not God forbid. God has made everything. He has provided everything. Even the people that are praying, God has hearkened to our prayer. If you want to go spiritual, do you remember that man prayed And one people, we tell the answer to the prayer for days until God had to send the angel. God has even answered the prayer. He has sent the angel, but we refuse to grab it because we are not doing what is needful. And that's where we need the government to please have that understanding that there is serious poverty in the land. People cannot survive with 3 square meters any longer, not even 2. It's just take 1 by 12 or 1 and take the rest with good pure water or bottled water to survive yourself for the day. But we need to get back to track to make sure that things come back to normal. So it's quite alarming that will be 61, and people that they gave back to, you know, after us, countries like Rwanda are succeeding and becoming the hub where everybody is celebrating today. But I think we need to have a rethink, and our government just have to have that atmosphere that they are there to serve us as citizens.
All right, let's take a look at this one. The Nation newspaper, like this particular story, zoning tears PDP apart, Makinde Ayin leading the opposing groups, and stormy days ahead. VAT row, firms remit August returns to the FRS, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and agency threatens defaulters with sanctions. Nigeria at 61 remains Africa's shining star, says Oshibajo. That was the Thanksgiving service held to celebrate the 61 years of our independence and our togetherness as a country by Khan yesterday. All right, let me stop smiling. Kemi wants to bring in trouble. Bianca, why I shunned Apgar rally? Abductors free 10 Kaduna pupils. Germany SPD leads in race to succeed Merkel. Rising air travel raises hopes on new carriers. Street begging Almajiri, not Islamic, says the Sultan. 60 held over mob lynching of policemen in Lagos. Police bankers clash in Ijebu-Ode and Boko Haram attacks Babangida town. Let me quickly take this one. I said it's quite interesting. The first story I wanted to take. A street begging, not Islamic. Almajiri, not Islam, and that's coming from the Sultan. Over time, we've had this people propagating this gospel of the Almajiri system, encourage the terrorism and the insurgency. These kids are idle, and so they become the devil's workshop, an instrument for terrorists to take advantage of. The Almajiri system has also encouraged the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria. Before the COVID-19, we had 13.5 million. Now that COVID had come, we are looking at close to 15 million students. Sometimes even by default, because the government in some places, even in Kaduna, to shut down some schools to save the children from being kidnapped. Now, this has become more barbaric. But the Sultan is saying that this entire system that we claim is the reason for more recruitment into terrorism camps is not even Islamic. Do you see the very people that the Sultan is leading, because the Sultan is actually the chairman of this Islamic, exactly. Now, do you see these people listening to this?
Well,
and the governors as well.
Yeah, well, it's good that the Sultan is speaking now. I would say it's never late than never. This has trended for a very long time, talking about these Almajiris and some of those things. And everybody have kept quiet.
Yeah.
We have said it that, you see, there's a way you keep quiet. And when that thing starts knocking at your door, you have no option that to voice out and speak on some of those challenges. You see, every nation that grows don't joke with education. But we have taken education, backward in this part of the world. We don't give it. If you look at the budget annually, we tend to give more to security, forgetting that what creates the insecurity is lack of education. If you are well enlightened, if you have the understanding of what it takes, business-wise and some other things, people always refer to this education as the one that will get on the forward. There are informal education.
Yes.
Most of our parents didn't go to school,
Yeah.
but they have those understanding because of their environment. on how to nurture,
were schooled within the society.
the society. So it's to tell you that it's not only on the part of the formal education, even the informal. There's a way you make the environment to teach and model the upcoming ones. You know, when it will surprise you that most of the successful people we are today, go and check their background. Their parents didn't really go to that school in quotes, but they are able to train them because the environment actually gave that enabling thing,
yes.
you know, for them to nurture those things. And that's why we keep saying that you cannot say these people will not go to school. The main aim of Boko Haram is against Western education.
True.
And that cannot continue. We are in the world of globalization. In fact, as we speak, AI has taken over.
Yeah.
Robotics have taken over. And we are just still working in the dark age. You cannot get that, you know, alone by just walking on the street. Look at what telecoms is rolling out now. IT is driving so many things. Gone are those days you go to the bank, you queue for hours. You and I know that IT has actually developed that sector to the extent that I can say that I've not been to the bank in the last 4 or 5 years. For what? You carry out your transaction at the comfort of your home. And how do you get some of this education? It's when you make the environment. You know, there are some people like Mark Zuckerberg did not go to the formal certain skill.
True.
But he has that environment to develop the talent and the skills
That
he possessed.
True.
And he's able to write some of those things. So some may not even go to the four wall of that school, but they will have that enabling environment to develop. Let me tell you one thing.
Skills.
The youths are blessed. The youth are blessed. It's just for you to create that atmosphere, for them to exhibit that gifting in them. While we're growing up, you see very young children inquisitive of how to take hand of their phone. Let me tell you, young children these days know how to operate this Android phone more than you and I.
True.
A 2-3-year-old, 4-5 girl will pick up this phone and go to an area that you've never gone to, even on your phone. And you
I
ask
keep
yourself,
telling myself, I keep saying that I don't have games on my tab, but every time my kids pick up my tab,
they will get without even going to YouTube.
they don't even download. They play games.
They will play the games.
I
and
don't
they
have
will use it.
internet. I don't have a SIM card on it, but my kids play games.
So ask yourself,
So I
where
had
did
to
they
ask
get
a
it?
question. How can a 3-year-old be playing games? So I had to ask one day. I said, "Where did you get it?" Mommy, when you go to Google Play Store, you can go from Google Play Store and there are some free games that are there. Solitaire, blah, 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 Minesweeper. But then I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
You understand? So it's to tell you